Today we will study the Pranayama. There's the importance of the Pranayama, and usually as you start we will recite this mantra. Mano Buddha Hamkara Chittani Naham Nacha Shutra Jivhe Nacha Grana Netre Nacha Vyoma Bhumi Na Tejo Na Vayu Chidananda Rupa Shivoham 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 Shivoham. We are studying Patanjali Yoga Darshan. Why should we meditate? Over that we are discussing, and we have come to know that the meditation is the only process by which we can get peace, and peace is the ultimate of our life. And how to control our senses, control our mind to reach to peace, to samadhi? It says the only option is Ashtanga Yoga Marga. That means the 8 steps of yoga, and that we are studying. That is Patanjali Yoga Darshan. Here in the Ashtanga Yoga it says first is Yama, and this Yama includes 5 qualities. What are those? Ahimsa, non-injury; Satya, the truthfulness; Asteya, non-stealing; Brahmacharya, continence; and Aparigraha, not receiving the gifts. Then comes the Niyama: Shaucha, the cleanliness; Santosha, containment; Tapa, austerity; Swadhyaya, study; Ishar Pranidhanani, and meditating, contemplating on God. Then comes Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. And in our last class in this month, 2 classes we could not do because of Swami Vivekananda's Tithi Puja and the celebration was there. And then the last Sunday I was in San Diego. Of course, I was teaching them meditation over there, and that was a beautiful situation. We all went out, sat under a tree, and then in that open park we were meditating, and that was really good. Here today, let us begin with asana, the 46th aphorism of the 2nd chapter. Sthira Sukham Asanam. Sthira, it is a posture that is strictly you have to maintain, firm but pleasant. Sukham, sthiram but sukham. It is a firm but pleasant. That posture is called asana. And we have studied how many different types of asanas are there. There one asana that is very famous is called Padmasana. That Padmasana, those who practice asana, I think today there is a class in the asana and the meditation. So these yoga classes, they teach first asana. we have two things, body and mind. Body is the instrument and mind is actually the force that utilizing this instrument, using this instrument. So, body we have to keep in such a way so that that mind on which we are going to get control, that can be helpful. If we are constantly according to the mental waves, we are actioning, body is functioning, in that case, we won't be able to control the mind. So, to control the mind, we need a very strong position, and for a long time we can sit over there. So, these are the two things, body and the mind. Mind is the main force which is leading the body, but this time we are making in such a way, we are controlling that power, mind, through an inert thing which is the machine. Let us give an example that the power that is driving the vehicle. Outside, all the wheels are there and all these things, that is the machine. Now, for some reason, machine is not moving at all. And we are going on giving that key, but it is not igniting. It is not taking any action. What will happen to that? It will become quiet. The force, that power that is igniting and forcing the whole huge machine to move, that afterwards it will give up. Okay, for some reason, for some time, it will be quiet. Similarly, almost similarly, we will have to sit in such a position where we can sit for a long time, and then we have to control our mind, which is the main force. In the Upanishad also, the Sheta Upanishad, there also it says, Tirunnatam sthapya samam shariram, by keeping the chest, neck and head erect. Three means three. What are the three? That is chest and neck and the head. This portion, this upper portion of the body, we have to keep in such a position so that it can. And Indriyani manasa sannibesha. Indriyani and manasa. Again the Indriyas. Indriya means all the sense organs, and that is controlled by the mana, mind. That is the trouble. And we have to overcome our own mind. And how to? The mind is taking the help of the senses. So, we have to control the senses. A person is very powerful. Is he alone powerful? No. Physically maybe he is little powerful, but his power depends on many things, like the manpower, money power, connection power, and so many other powers. In the society, if he is having lot of connections, he is powerful. He is having some muscle men, he is powerful. He is having lot of money, he is powerful, because utilizing money he can hire all this. So, the connections, if we can cut down all those, then the person will become quiet. He cannot do anything. Similarly, our mind. So, when we are trying to control our mind, trying to meditate, we have to go in this way. Our mind, we have to control, but the mind is most powerful because it is associated, helped by these 5 sense organs. So, this here it says first is the body, and body, the lower part is different, but the upper part, mainly the chest, neck and head, it must be erect. It is not moving at all. Just like the stone image, we have to sit. And then second it comes Indriyani, all the senses, manasa sannivesha, and it's helping to concentrate in the mind. That is the teaching of the Upanishad, Sheta Shatara Upanishad, the same line of Patanjali Yoga Darshan. Again, we find in the Bhagavad Gita it says, Samam Kaya Shiro Grivam. Shira, head, Kaya, this body, and Griva means this cheek. So, when it is erect, then only it is possible to control achalam sthiram, no movement, sthiram, quietly in one position. So, achalam sthiram, if you can hold the body, head and neck erect, motionless and firm, that is called asana. So, when we call asana, it is so easy. There are so many young chaps out there, they know so many different type of asanas. The physical instructors, they will be teaching them the asanas, Padmasana, Salvasana, so many asanas are there. Of course, the best asana I like, that is Savasana. Just lie down and sleep. But the most difficult thing is Savasana. Afterwards I heard. The Savasana is very difficult. You have to think yourself as a Shava. Shava means dead body. It's not simply lying down and then snoring. No, that won't do. You have to lie down and you have to forget that you are that body. Shavasana. That is also asana. Why asana? Sthiram, sukham, asanam. Sthiram, totally controlled. Sukham, very pleasant. And that is the asana. Sthira sukha asana. Here we are finding these asanas. The posture becomes firm and relaxed through control of the natural tendencies of the body. In the 47th aphorism, he is explaining Prayatna Shaithilya Ananta Samapattibhyam. It says that if you can send your mind outside somewhere and then you are totally mixing your mind with that conception over which you would like to concentrate, that can also give you this help. So, you will forget the body, you will think of the mind. Sri Ramakrishna, in his very simple way, he said that suppose somebody was sweeping or doing some work and suddenly someone came and told, your son has met an accident over there. What he will do? For a minute or two, all his senses will be numbed. He cannot think of. Kumbhaka. His whole concentration will be inside the mind because of that. So, what we need to keep the body erect, we have to send our mind outside somewhere. Then we don't bother about. So, here it also says meditation on the infinite. Suppose we meditate on the infinite. We see this ocean, vast ocean, nowhere, nothing can be seen. Over that, if we put our mind that we are sitting on the ocean all around, no, nothing is there. And slowly I am also mixing in that ocean. I am a part and parcel of that ocean. So that is a wonderful way to expand the mind. Also the sky. Sometimes the vast sky, sometimes the big field. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, when he was only 5-6 years, very young little kid, he was walking and he was eating little puffed rice. Suddenly he saw a scene. Those who have read that biography, you know that the clouds are hanging on the horizon and the green field is also meeting that horizon, the green and the black, and suddenly some cranes came, white cranes, they are flying over that black. So the beauty of that, immediately he went into samadhi. Why? The mind went out and mixed it in that vastness. So it doesn't mean that we have to sit in one place and meditate. When you go out, and if we are constantly thinking that I have to meditate, I have to control my mind, then you can utilize all the situations and use your mind in that purpose. Tato dandana avighataha. And then it says, the perfection in posture, dualities do not obstruct. Danda, danda means duality. Danda means larai, danda means fighting. And the fighting, why, when there are two? When I am all alone, I cannot fight with myself. So naturally, it is only the conception of two. When there is two, when the conception is one, so there is nothing. So the mind is going out, mixing with that infinite, and there is no two, and I forget that I exist. There is no conception of my body, and there will be no the two things coming and colliding. That's why Bhagavad Gita, in a very beautiful way, it explains sama shatrucha mitrecha. Shatru is my enemy, mitra, friend, but both will be just like the same. That is the mental condition. Shita, Ushna, sometimes very cold and sometimes very hot, but it's not feeling, the person is not feeling at all. I think I was telling over there in San Diego to explain this point, that one of our Swamiji, who was the president of the order, he was in a hospital. And in Calcutta hospital, you know that just adjacent to that, there is a group of people, very poor people, and they used to come back from their work, physical work, in the night, and then they will be drinking, shouting. So it was a terrible thing. Those who used to serve him, they used to think, how Swamiji will sleep? He will be disturbed with all this. So one day, one Shevak and one Brahmachari, he told him, Swamiji, you must be feeling disturbed, isn't it? So why? Was it they shout in the night? Well, do you hear that? I never heard it. I never heard. Let them do like that. I control my mind. I am within myself. I never heard them that they are shouting. So that is why Swami Vivekananda is telling, I can consider you as a yogi when you can meditate in the din and bustle of the street of New York. When lot of people, they are going this side, that side, so many things, and there you are very, very quiet. And again, in the deep forest of Himalaya, quiet, calm, there you are intensely active. Not you are running and jumping, meditating, but thinking about the welfare of the thousands or millions of people. You are intensely active, thinking about God. So these are the two peculiar things can happen when we are the master of our mind. Tasmin sati shwasa prasyasa gati vicheda pranayama. Now, friends, I remind you that we are studying Ashtanga Yoga. Of the 8 Anga limbs, Yama, Niyama, we have already studied. And the Yama, Niyama means 10 different things we have studied. Now, Asana, that also just now we completed with 46, 47, 48 aphorism, now goes to a very important, that's called Pranayama. Prana means vital force, Ayama, control. We have to control that vital force. It is easy to control eyes. I just cover my eyes and I cannot see. Easy to control the ear. I plug my ear and it cannot hear. Similarly, the nose. Many other limbs I just tie and then my hands won't work. Leg cannot do anything. So that way I can control my external organs. But what about the prana, the vital force? Because I cannot stop my breathing. If it stops, then no necessary of meditation. If the prana is not there, if the vital force is not there, it has stopped totally, then no problem at all. So that is the terrible power. It's a huge power, this prana. Prana means it is, they say this vital force and then the inhaling, exhaling, but prana is a totally different. You cannot translate the word prana into English. It's difficult, almost impossible. Prana is the vital force. Without what? Without that, nothing can be there. So there will be, as a wonderfully it is explaining over here about the prana. We will study that afterwards. Tasmin sati, after perfecting that, tasmin sati, after practicing that, what? Asana, we have to now think about the pranayama, control of the motion of exhalation and inhalation, nishwasa and prasyasa. Nishwasa means when you are taking in, the breathing is taking in, prasyasa when you are taking out. In between there is two things. Again, one more thing is there. It's called kumbhaka. When you have breathed out and you have not taken in, what is that condition? Without any air. But still we are surviving. Sometimes we can practice that and we should practice that. And when we have taken in and controlling for some time, that is also called kumbhaka. Kumbhaka literally means a pitcher. And when it is full with water, that is the condition. That's called kumbhaka. So here it says nishasha, prasyasha, kumbhaka. And that is another word again, we will next sloka will read, puraka, rechaka, kumbhaka. Puraka means inhaling, we are filling up, puraka. Rechaka, we are sending out. And then kumbhaka. This is very, very important. Those who have studied and seen those cassettes or maybe that live exhibitions of the Ramdev Baba, he is a master in this. How he is controlling all the breathing. He is taking in, taking out, the whole body is becoming, when he is sending out all the breathings, the belly is almost going and inside and touching the back. And that way he can do. That is an excellent way he has practiced. So this is called a different way we can control. Now pranayama does not becomes conducive to samadhi unless we are practicing all these things, controlling the pranayama, then kibhati, so all these different names are also there. Sometimes they'll be sending one of our person, he was teaching us meditation, that is in ashram. So in the room he was telling, when you have to go free, you are free. Just go on breathing out, breathing in as fast as possible. And everybody started doing that and it became so difficult. And then he said, you are free. If you like, you can shout, you can cry, you can sing. Whatever the mind is thinking, you can give out. I told, but this is, you call meditation? Well, yes, this is the life force. So, and then within the few moments, people from outside, they came to help us. So they were thinking something is going on inside the room. So they all came and then we told, no, we are trying to meditate. Then afterwards, really I was scared, that type of meditation. And some people, in the name of, they will be practicing that also. But our goal is samadhi. Our goal is to totally control the cessation of the mind, we can say. Almost nothing should be there except the object, the consciousness. and that is called samadhi. And it says that in an explanation it says that pranayama does not become conducive to samadhi unless steadiness of the body and one pointedness of the mind on one subject are maintained. This is the one pointedness of the mind, steadiness of the body, asana, and then pratyahara. These two together, then the pranayama will be effective. The object contemplated upon should be present in the mind during inhalation and exhalation. Thus, breathing of the mind habit and breathing and quietness, and this should have a synchronized form. The synchronization is like that. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, again in a very simple way, he is telling, if you go on thinking in anything, you will become that. If you are going on meditating on anything, you will become that. So this is a very important teaching, and there remains our choosing the object. If we choose a wrong object, of course the process is the same, result is the same, but you are getting a wrong result, and afterwards you should not blame. So this is very important. Here it says that the body is erect, steady, and the mind is one pointed at that time when we are breathing exercises we are doing. So that will help us. Baiha abhantara stambha vrittihi desha kala sankhya bhi pridrishta dirgha sukshma. This is the 50th aphorism. The breath may be stopped, exhalation, rechaka. It may stop exhalation. We are not breathing out. Inhalation and then puraka, or motionless, kumbhaka, regulated by the place, time, number, long or short. For a long time one can do, for a short time one can do. So that is depending on practice. Sometimes some people, ordinary people we have seen, they will dug the something just for the money, just only for little money, and particularly in some places like Ganga Sagar Mela, Kumbh Mela, you will find these people, they will be coming and they will digging on little space and then putting their head inside, remaining for such a long time, and they are not having any oxygen mask or anything. For a long time it will be, they will be lying there, the leg upstairs, upward, and then the head inside that earth. They are remaining. People will be coming, oh, it's a wonderful feat, and then will be giving some money. That's all. But he has practiced this kumbhaka. He took the ear and went. Sometimes they will be going down under the water and remaining there for a long time. So that is also, so this is rechaka, kumbhaka, all this is possible to practice. But what is the goal? Just to show to people and then earn some money is a different goal. And that is the very important thing. It says that with the pranayama, if you like to realize God or to reach the Atman or to know your own self, you have to fix your goal properly, perfectly. Otherwise, you cannot. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna told one of his direct disciples, he used to meditate on ghost. And he said, you have that capacity to concentrate, to control your mind. But if your object is the ghost, ghost you will become one day. Why don't you turn your mind and concentrate, use that same power on God, you will become God one day. And he really became that. That is Swami Niranjanananda ji. He is a very strong personality. So this we find, whenever we are doing this controlling breathing and all, we find that Swami Brahmananda ji, a few days, I think day before yesterday, his Tithi Puja was there. This Brahmananda ji, he is the master of this yoga, but he is practicing only through taking the God's name. He is totally concentrating his mind on God and going on taking the name of God, repetition of the God's name. That is his specialty. Even Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, the moment I look towards Rakhal, I go into Samadhi, because the moment I see that his lips are moving, I know that he is taking the name of God. I cannot control myself. So these are the two stages. One who is preparing, taking the name of God constantly, his lips very quietly, sound way, without any pronouncing anything, going on taking the name of God. And Sri Ramakrishna, just by looking at that, getting the hint of the name of God, going into Samadhi. Think of the condition. So this is the father and this is the son. Son is preparing. And afterwards, you're going to think of the Raja Maharaj. Even Swami Vivekananda is telling he is higher in spiritual realm among all of us. So this is this Raja Maharaj. This time, our annual calendar, it is all on Raja Maharaj. Excellent quotations and very unique photographs, very rare photographs. If you see a person sitting, he is smoking and is totally absorbed in meditation. This is unique. It's nothing, only $15 or so, not for the calendar, but for the quotations and the picture. I think all our devotees should keep it. Don't think I'm selling it. I'm telling it because these are very rare. After a lot of researches, it has been found all the beautiful quotations and then the pictures. If it is hanging, it will remind us of a great personality. And constantly it will go on reminding us that that is my goal in our life. This is really very good. And then here, I will read from this book. This is beautifully Swami Prabhavananda, he has explained over here. It says the asana, about the asana, and then pranayama, etc. Asana means two things: place on which the yogi sits and the manner in which he sits over there. These are the two things. And then the posture also is defined by Hindu tradition. The most famous asana is called lotus. Lotus, Padmasana. And asana really matters. Here Swami says, the asana really matters. It is to take on a position in which one can sit absolutely still and erect, holding the chest, neck and head in a straight line without strain, so one can forget the body altogether. It is a matter of common experience that one thinks more clearly in that position than when one is sitting in the bent back. You will see that something serious, you have to take a decision. You cannot simply recline or the lying down. You will immediately sit straight. So this is the necessary. And this is for the yogi, this posture is necessary. When the mind becomes deeply absorbed, a spiritual current is felt to rise through the spine. And the passage for this current must be kept straight and open. This is the main purpose. Now, afterwards we find that in the 50th aphorism, there is the prana. And the Swami quotes that beautiful story about the prana. And I'll just read from here. It is in the Prasna Upanishad. In the Prasna Upanishad, it has been, this story is there. Bhargava, he is approaching his teacher. Bhargava is a great saint. He is approaching his teacher and he is asking, Holy Sir, how many powers hold together this body? Because this body, you know, and that is the science, and this is the beauty of Hinduism. Majority of our people will always be telling religion means this. No. Hinduism, and just because the Rishi Aurobindo told it's a way of life, most of the people not understanding the real meaning of the definition, they'll say Hinduism is not a religion, it's a way of life. What do you mean by way of life? It is totally soaked in the religious life. Religion has become the life force of the Hindus. So do you have to understand that? Here, Hinduism means it's a pure science, asking question, getting the answer, examining and coming out with a result. Not that you have said and I have accepted, not like that. Someone came and told these are the things you must have to follow. That is for the children. For the thinkers, for the grown-ups, they will always see the pros and cons. They will see whether this is good or bad, and then only they should accept that that is what Hinduism. Now the body, the whole body, it is having so many things. Prana, apana, udana, vyana, samana. 5 different forces acting inside the body. We only say prana because that is the vital. But there are many other forces. Without that, you can understand. In the science, they say if there is no air in that particular one, any box, immediately it will be crashed by the external force of the air. But our body is all right. Why? There is also forces. What is that forces? It is prana, all these 5 forces. And vital is prana. So here, Bhargava, the student, he is going and asking his teacher, Sir, how many several powers holding this body? Which of them are most magnificent and manifest in it? Which is the greatest? Now, teacher is telling through a story. He is telling, see, the powers are ether, air, fire, water and earth. This pancha bhuta, the pancha elements. All the Hindu in all temples, if they really do the arati, these are the 5 things they always use. The pancha bhuta, that is the main basic thing for everything that we see. This is the basic thing. Then it says, the powers, replied the sage, are ether, air, fire, water, earth, these being the 5 elements which compose the body, and beside this, speech, mind, eye, ear, the rest of the sense organs. Once this power made a boastful assertion. Now he is telling the story to give an answer who is the most important among all this. Once these powers, that means all this, they were making the quarreling. We hold the body together and support it. Whereupon the prana, the primal energy, the supreme over all of them, said. See, this story he has made short, that the I was telling, okay, I am the most important, without me you cannot survive. If you don't agree, I will show you. The eye goes out. The man becomes blind, but he is not dying. He is all right. Only little difficulty. Similarly, the ear, the nose, all this. Then they told, who is really the main chief? Then the prana, who was sitting in a corner observing all this. He says, okay, let me try. If I go out, what happens? The moment the prana, the primal energy, he says, do not deceive yourselves. It is I alone, dividing myself fivefold, who hold together this body and support it. But they would not believe them. As the story goes, Prana, to justify himself, made as if he intended to leave the body. But as he rose and appeared to be going, all the rest realized that if he went, they also would have to depart with him, as the bees go out when their queen goes out. So it is all the vital senses, they are all depending on the prana. According to the philosophy and the psychology of the yoga, a huge reserve of spiritual energy is situated at the base of the spine. And this is called Kundalini. We heard the Swami explaining in this chapter itself about the Kundalini. And this Kundalini is the reserve force. Swami Vivekananda is also telling, and some they say it's a serpent power. And that is why the symbol of yoga is a serpent, is a snake. The Ramakrishna mission symbol, the main thing is the snake. And because it is the yoga. And here it says, in the words of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, the scriptures speak of 7 centers of consciousness. The mind may dwell in one or the other of the centers. When the mind is attached to worldliness, it dwells in the 3 lower centers at the navel and these 3. Then the 4th center is the heart. When the mind learns to dwell there, man experiences his first spiritual awakening. The first 3 level, it is nothing. But then the moment the mind comes on the 4th, in the heart, immediately he sees the divine light. Ah, how blissful, he says. The 5th center is at the throat, and then he whose mind has reached that center is freed from ignorance and delusion. The 6th center is the forehead. When the mind reaches this center, there is the direct vision of God day and night. 7th center is the top of the head. When the mind reaches it, samadhi is attained. One becomes a knower of Brahman, united with Brahman. So Raja Yoga reminds us that the mind body has only one life force. This force expresses itself in different ways, different levels of consciousness. It may impel a person to paint a picture, run a race, or say his prayer, but it is always the same force. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he said, Mod ghuriye dao. This mode means this turn. This is the only one energy. With this energy, with this force, everything is done. If you turn this force towards God, you go to God. You reach to God. But most of the people do not believe it. So here, use the same energy for higher purpose and you will obtain enlightenment. According to Raja Yoga, the spinal column contains 2 nerve currents. One is Ida at the left and Pingala on the right, and center passage is called Susumna. When the Kundalini is aroused, it passes up through the Susumna. Vivekananda said, by the power of long internal meditation, the vast mass of energy stored up travels along the Susumna and strikes the centers. The reaction is tremendous, immediately superior, immensely superior to the reaction of dream or imagination, immensely more intense than the reaction of sense perception. When Sri Ramakrishna Vivekananda, when he was young, Narendranath, he met Sri Ramakrishna and he asked the question, that famous question, Sir, have you seen God? And Sri Ramakrishna answered was, I have seen more intensely than I see you now. So that is the beauty. When these centers are touched, Swami Vivekananda afterwards, he is mentioning, this is more intense than the reaction of sense perception. When you see things, hear things, taste things, is much, much more. All worship, consciously or unconsciously, leads to this end. The man who thinks that he is receiving response to his prayer does not know that the fulfillment comes from his own nature, that he has succeeded by the mental attitude of prayer, awakening up a bit of this infinite power which is coiled up within himself. And here, Lord Buddha, he tried to tell people, Atma Deepo Bhava, you be light of yourself, whereas all powers is within you. The Vedanta it says, Kim Rodashi Sakhe Tai Sarva Shakti. Why you are weeping, crying? You are the power. All power is within. When we are praying to God, actually we are awakening our own power. That is the answer. How God helped us? Because all these images, all these stories, all the prayer, all the practices, only to concentrate. Help us to concentrate. The moment we are concentrated, the tremendous force that is already within us, it comes up and then it helps. Yoga is the science of religion, Vivekananda said. The rationale of all worship, all prayers, forms, ceremonies, and miracles. So this is the yoga. Why should you study? Why should you meditate? Because of this. Here, the Rechaka, Pura, Kumbhaka that you are studying, some people say that when you are doing the Kumbhaka, is that sometimes it is Bahya and sometimes it is Antar. Some say the external Kumbhaka is Vedic. External Kumbhaka means when we have left the breathing and not inhaling and holding the breath outside, inside there is nothing. They say this is a Kumbhaka but Vedic. And when you are holding inside, it is Tantric. Tantra and the Veda, they are running parallel. There are two different approaches for the same thing. Sometimes the people they say Veda is the much superior, only for them. Tantra is the same way. It is more action based. And that is why we find the combination of Tantra and Veda in the life of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. We are practicing meditation, we are taking the sannyasa in the Vedic manner. At the same time, we are taking initiation, that is the system of Tantra. So the best of the two combined over here. Now next we will go to 51 sloka, Baiha Abhyantara Vishayakshepi Chaturthaha. So up to this we can study today. So this 51th aphorism says, apart from these two, there is another fourth one. There is the outside, there is the inside, but at the same time there is another one, that is the fourth one. Baiha Abhyantara Vishayakshepi Chaturthaha. Akshepi means we are crossing. When we are crossing this position, then it comes that we are actually having this power. But there is a fourth one. What is that fourth one? There it says, the Swami Vivekananda restraining the prana by reflecting on external or internal object. That is also pranayama, that is also kumbhaka. This is the fourth sort of pranayama, in which the kumbhaka is brought about by long practice attended with reflection, which is absent in the other three. So other three, the object is there on which we are concentrating. It is only the reflection on that we are concentrating. Just thinking and we are getting the concentrated. That is why we find, see, again and again we are going back to the life of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, because it's so important. It's not that we are the followers of Sri Ramakrishna ideology, we are quoting him, not like that. If you want to explain this yoga, if you want to explain the jnana, if you want to explain the karma and all the traditional ways, Sri Ramakrishna is the only person who practiced everything. In his life we find the living demonstration. That is the beauty. He is asking Mother, that's very peculiar. No one can see the Mother, the Divine Mother. But as if he is praying, Mother, don't put me into samadhi. We are trying and praying to Mother, please take us to samadhi. But I don't know whether the Mother is listening or not. But Sri Ramakrishna is praying just opposite. Don't put me into samadhi. I like to go and talk to them. I like to meet them. I like to see them. I like to do this. I like to do that. Just a reflection. And immediately the mind is becoming concentrated. And one example they have given, in a very hot plate, iron plate, if you put a drop of water, immediately all the drops of water that come in the center, and it clubs together and after some time evaporate. There is no water. Similarly, all the mind in different situations, the moment it is hot, get the touch of God, reminds of God, immediately it comes in one place, become one-pointed, and then evaporates. It goes and takes the shape of the same God. So this is the beauty of the Chaturtha, and this we find again and again in the life of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. So these are the practices we have to do. So this is almost, I was thinking that I will complete the second chapter. I think in the February 1st Sunday we will be able to complete. And so it's not that we are studying in the college, we have to complete the chapter immediately, and not like that. We take our time to understand. So understanding is the most important. Akshepi, the words that Baiha Abhantara Vishayakshepi. Akshepi means crossing. We are just going beyond to that. So the word Akshepi means crossing, going beyond. So going beyond means now we were taking the help of something to concentrate. Now the fourth one, after practicing in such a way, it becomes so, the moment you just give a hint, mind goes over there. No preparation. The moment you say, now we have to think of God, immediately asana, they will spread the asana, they will sit over there, then close the nose, doing the pranayama, then meditating. Nothing like that. All those are practiced. This is for only the beginners. Now compare our position. So when you talk about God, when you talk about Atman, when you talk about Parabrahman, when you talk about the Samadhi, what we are talking about actually? We do not have any conception. It is the totally controlled mind which immediately reacts with a little hint. Can you imagine? So Bahyabhantara Vishayakshepi Chaturthaha. This is the Kumbhaka. And they said, when you are taking in this breathing, and then actually it goes to the heart, but afterwards you feel that it is everywhere. Send it down to Muladhara. Mula, Adhara. Adhara means containing. Mula means the root. The root which it is containing, which is that is called Kundalini. Now these are the words are very common in the modern day society. Almost all people they know. Kula Kundalini, Kundalini Shakti, this is the primal power. If we send the breathing over there and then take it out, forcing it to come up, and through the spinal cord, Susumna, just imagine the straight road, clean road, in that we are dragging it and it's coming up. Fast, second, third, one after another, the lotuses are getting opened, then the fourth one, fifth one, sixth one. So that is the force of the Chaturthi. Immediately it will go down and drag it up. Again and again we have to go and pray as if. We have to send our mind to that Kulakundalini, Ma Kulakundalini. Sri Ramakrishna is telling, Jago Ma, arise, arise. Imagining that is my mother, that is my main force on which I am sustaining, and addressing that force as mother, I am asking, please arise, please arise. And when it is arising, whatever I want, I get. That is the power of the yoga. And one must be very, very careful if the Kulakundalini Shakti is arising. So another 2-3 small the aphorisms we will complete in the next Sunday. And if you have any little some 1 or 2 questions, you can try to answer about the Kundalini or anything like that. In the next class, the problem is over here it is difficult to practice. That is the control of the breathing and all that. But you can, as I already told you, many of you have heard it and practiced a little, and just a sheer beginning. When you are taking the breathing, then if you close one nostril and taking from the other, counting 8, then hold both the nostrils, and this is the Kumbhaka inside, and count 32 times. No, 8 we are taking, 32 times Om, 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 or 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, counting. That time, saying that mentally, imagining that force is going down to the spinal cord, you can see your own spine and the end of it, then there on a lotus, triangle lotus, the main power is coiled up. And then you are asking it to rise, coming up. And when it is coming, try to visualize that it is coming in the form of Omkara. Hundreds of Omkara, one after another, is coming up. And slowly it is coming and touching your last point, that is on the head. So that way if we can practice, so 32 times, then when you are releasing, open the other portion of the nose, other nostril, and then release again slowly by counting 16. So 8 we are taking in, then holding, we may use these 3 fingers, and then afterwards when you are releasing, counting 16, 8, 32, 16. Again from the other part, other next nostril, 8, 32, 16. It is a 1. circle. Like that, if we can do 11 or 21 or 51, you will feel, if nothing else, the body is getting fresh. So that in the morning when you get up, we always feel sleepy, and then for the meditation, if we practice this 11 times, immediately we will feel fresh. So next class we will complete this one. Let us chant this. Aham nirvikalpo nirakara rupo vibhutvacha sarvatra sarvendriyanam navasangatam naiva muktirnameya chidananda rupa shivoham 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 shivoham. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Om peace, peace, peace. Friends, there's an announcement. One Swamiji is coming from Belur Math. He is a very young Swami, but a very good speaker, very famous speaker now. He is visiting America, and he will come over here on 29th. 30th, he will go out to see some of the places associated with Swami Vivekananda and stay over here. And 31st evening, he will go to the Hindu temple, and there he will speak on Shiva. I think I have forgotten the subject, so you can all attend. So, and from there itself, after the lecture, a group of people will be waiting over there to take him to another place. He will go. So this is the whole program. If you like to meet him personally, you can come. I think better on Sunday, I mean Saturday morning, or Friday afternoon. I think he will be free. His name is Swami Sarva Priyananda.